reached out and asked if you had read the indictment. You said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment at this point.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think about your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain. Background may look a little strange because I'm actually in the truck. Today is one of my sister's birthday, one of my older sister's birthday. And with the recent loss of my aunt, family is just so important. It's always been important, but with the recent loss of our aunt, it makes it all the more reason and worthwhile to love on your people. So happy birthday to my sister Sonia. She's celebrating her 63rd birthday today. And so House Scribe couldn't find a quiet place, so I'm actually in the truck trying to do this. Nonetheless, happy, grateful to be here with you tonight. So much is going on in this country and in this city and across the state. So much is going on, so much pain, so much evil, so much hurt. And tonight I kind of want to talk about this big ugly bill that the Republicans in the United States Senate cleared. J.D. Vance broke the tie. I am telling you, there's still time to fight, and you'll hear Senator Elizabeth Warren say that it is still time to fight. It's not dead until it's dead. It has to go to the House. And so we'll hear from her, and we'll hear from Senator Cory Booker. So we've compiled lots of videos because we want to show you the gravity of what this bill is. And I am telling you, we have a voice, right? We still have time to call our members of Congress now, the United States House of Representatives. And so, there's Benny Thompson, who has been our voice and our lone voice, but we need to reach out to all of the United States representatives from Mississippi. It's about 4 or 5 of them in total, only 2 senators. But let me say this before we start running these videos, because again, we got lots of videos because we want you to hear, to understand the gravity of what happened today. These senators worked around the clock. They spent hours on the floor just trying. I think what hurts the most is that most of the Republicans that voted yes for this, they know it's bad. They know it's harmful. They know it's dangerous, and yet they voted anyway. They're just giving Donald Trump a pass, right? They're giving him a pass. Anything he wants, he gets. But you still have a voice and you still have power. And again, that's why it's so important to be here with us. It's so important to support local independent journalism. So if you haven't subscribed to our page, please do that. That's a means of helping us continue to do what we do here. So please subscribe to us. If you feel inclined to lend a hand in donating, you can donate at our Cash App, Othor Cain. You can donate via Venmo. We have a QR code that you can donate to. Every dime, every penny, every investment that you make to this, it gives us an opportunity to continue telling our stories. Dr. J and I, we are hustling and we're working and we're trying to get this thing monetized. And so we're grateful for your support. You can share it, you can like it, comment. All of those ways are ways of engagement that really do help us do what we do. Also, a little later, we're going to try to get into the changing of the guard in Jackson. There are a lot of new mayors across the state of Mississippi, and I am honestly working on a show to pull several of those new mayors together. There's a new mayor in Greenwood, Mississippi. I got a new mayor in Jackson, Mississippi. There are a new mayor in Canton, Mississippi. So new mayor in Vicksburg. So we're going to work our level best. New mayor, in Clarksdale, and I can go on and on and on. New mayor in Meridian, right? And so I could go on and on, but we're going to try to do a collective show with these mayors, right, to talk about a new Mississippi. But tonight we begin with this god-awful bill that the Republicans gave the thumbs up to. It was a tie. They worked hard. Those Democratic senators were not letting up. This isn't just political rhetoric, folk. Thousands and thousands, if this bill passes out of the House, thousands and thousands and thousands of Mississippians that depend on Medicaid, their health care will be gutted. They literally voted to take food away from hungry, poor children across this state. They literally voted to close rural hospitals. Now I got a thing that I'm going to talk about maybe Thursday. Nelly has lost his mind, and how we're still supporting anybody that supports Donald Trump. I'm confused by that, right? I'm confused how we can support anybody that supports Donald Trump. No games. Tired of playing. Playtime is over. This is real, because this is affecting lives in a real kind of way. Some of the videos you'll see we compiled early this morning before the final vote was taken. At the end of the barrage of videos, you'll see where Senator Cory Booker and Senator Elizabeth Warren talk about the need to continue to fight, because it isn't quite over yet. And then in November, we can really fight. We can really fight with our votes at midterm, because we need to get some of these people out, like for real, for real, for real. We start tonight, though, with a video of Joy Reid, and we're going to kind of just play these back to back, and we'll have another discussion on the other side. Take a listen.
That this big billionaire looting bill, this BBL mess that is winding its way through the United States Senate, is a total scam. They're about to cut everything that helps the poor, old people, Medicaid, food stamps, Meals on Wheels, Head Start, school lunches for kids. You name it, all of that is getting gutted. Farm subsidies, they're going to let rural hospitals close. Also, they can give Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, and all the other billionaires, including Donald Trump, a permanent tax cut. Y'all ain't getting nothing. No tax on tips. That is not happening. They're going to cut farm subsidies, everything that helps regular people. Forget y'all rents going down. They're going up. And in addition to that, they're going to pump up the money for the military to build new ships that are probably going to be named after Confederate generals, because you know that. And also ramp up private prisons and more ICE agents to kidnap brown people. Y'all got played. And please. Hey, y'all, I just want to let you know that this big billionaire looting bill, this BBL mess that is winding its way through the United States Senate, is a total scam. They're about to cut everything that helps the poor, old people, Medicaid, food stamps, Meals on Wheels, Head Start, school lunches for kids. You name it, all of that is getting gutted. Farm subsidies, they're going to let rural hospitals close. Also, they can give Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos from Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, and all the other billionaires, including Donald Trump, a permanent tax cut. Y'all ain't getting nothing. No tax on tips. That is not happening. They're going to cut farm subsidies, everything that helps regular people. Forget y'all rents going down. They're going up. And in addition to that, they're going to pump up the money for the military to build new ships that are probably going to be named after Confederate generals, because you know that. And also ramp up private prisons and more ICE agents to kidnap brown people. Y'all got played. And please don't be stupid. I see a lot of people on social media claiming that the only people who are going to get their Medicaid cut are undocumented immigrants, quote unquote, illegals. Bullshit. That's not true. People who are undocumented cannot get Medicaid because you have to fill out forms that would get you busted if you were an undocumented immigrant. The people who are getting their Medicaid cut are your neighbors and maybe you, because some of y'all are on Obamacare and don't realize that's Medicaid. They call it different things in different states, but it's Medicaid. If you're on Obamacare and you got your health care through an exchange, you're on Obamacare. They're getting your health care, not some undocumented immigrants. Y'all are getting lied to. Stop believing the bullshit. And they're doing it because they know a lot of y'all are not going to vote in the next election and will just vote them back in. And they claim they're Christians. This is the most unchristian, demonic shit ever.
Senator, one word to describe this bill.
Reckless.
Cruel.
Irresponsible.
It is disappointing.
Selfish.
Unconscionable.
Inhumane. Rigged.
One word that describes this bill: obscenity.
Shit sandwich.
Disgusting.
Painful.
Punitive.
Betrayal.
Bogus.
Garbage.
Awful.
Cruel. Destructive.
My word for this bill: deception.
Between the state-directed payments and the cuts scheduled in this bill, there's a reduction of state-directed payments. And then there's the reduction of the provider tax. They can't find a hole in my estimate. So what they told me is that, yeah, it's rough, but North Carolina's used the system. They're going to have to make it work. All right. So what do I tell 663,000 people in 2 years or 3 years when President Trump breaks his promise by pushing them off of Medicaid because the funding's not there anymore, guys? When the White House senators advising the president are not telling him that the effect of this bill is to break a promise. And you know, the last time I saw a promise broken around health care, with respect to my friends on the other side of the aisle, it's when somebody said, if you like your health care, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep it. We found out that wasn't true. That made me the second Republican Speaker of the House since the Civil War, ladies and gentlemen, because we betrayed the promise to the American people. 2 years later, 3 years later, it actually made me a U.S. Senator, because in 2010, it had just been proposed. And just anticipation of what was going to happen was enough to have a sea change election that swept Republicans into the majority for the second time in 100 years. Now, Republicans are about to make a mistake on health care and betraying a promise. It is inescapable that this bill in its current form will betray the very promise that Donald J. Trump made in the Oval Office or in the cabinet room when I was there with finance, where he said we can go after waste, fraud, and abuse on any programs. Now,
Senator McConnell, my name is Simon. I live a block away from the Palisades, and every year the fires get worse. This big bill, it's going to cut our last chance at climate action to give tax breaks to big oil. Does that seem like a fair trade? Senator McConnell, can you look me in the eye and tell me that you're not going to sell away my future to big oil? And what do you have to tell my neighbors whose homes are burning? What do you have to say to the 800,000 people who would have gotten green jobs to vote because of this bill? Senator McConnell, you're cutting people off of Medicaid.
Can you look my generation in the eye? Can you look at me? I'm 19 years old. I'm scared about the climate crisis.
Senator McConnell, you're cutting 10 million people off of Medicaid in order to give tax breaks to big oil. Senator McConnell, please just look at me. Senator McConnell, please. It's my generation. Your future is on the line, and you're selling it out to big oil, and you're right here, and you can't even look at me. Please, Senator McConnell. My future is on the line. It's like actually crazy.
that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my God.
That's what Senator Paul said.
This one was easy.
Senator, we've got the.
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests. I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I tried to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that.
So they did it. Republicans and
she voted for it. She voted for it still. Let's continue.
So they did it. Republicans in the Senate, they did it. They passed it, that busted ass BBL smell ass goddamn bill that's going to kick 17 mil off of their health insurance. And I want y'all to remember this couch fucker's face, the same fucking face that broke the damn tie in the damn Senate that's going to ruin our lives. Name a worse downgrade than this. We had Vice President Kamala Harris. The only thing I could probably name is when they replaced Rebecca Romaine with Jennifer Lawrence to play Mystique in X-Men. And I know what y'all are thinking, well, this doesn't affect me. I'm not on Medicaid. I don't need none of this. But what about your damn energy? The reason why I brought up Kamala Harris is because when she was in office and when she was vice president, she broke the tie-breaking vote to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, which capped the cost of insulin, lowered energy costs, and also decreased our greenhouse emissions. With the provisions that's in this bill, your electric bill could go up by 8 or 10%. It's too hot for this. This is a big fucking deal. Do I smell bacon or is your back baking? Please get your shit in gear and call this number here. Just because it passed the Senate doesn't mean it's going to pass through Congress. You can call this number and tell them to vote no to this hoe.
Leaving the Senate now, at the end of the vote, when the Republicans won, they cheered. They cheered over taking away health care from around 17 million people. They cheered over giving huge tax breaks to a handful of billionaires. They cheered over running up the national debt by another $3.5 trillion. You know, this bill, it's bad. It's bad economically. It's bad morally. This bill is just wrong. But we stay in the fight. We stay in the fight. We stay in the fight. And we proved why we stay in the fight, because actually there are pieces of this bill that we got better. We got the tax on solar and wind knocked out, and that's going to help with clean energy. We got a few different pieces and made them better. So that's reason number one. It's always the reminder. All of those calls mattered. Reason number two is it's still not over. The bill has now got to go back over to the House. And there are a lot of Republicans who are feeling really squeamish about this bill at this point. So that means we got to stay in the fight. And reason number three is, yeah, they may do this now, but come November 2026, they're going to have to face the voters. They're going to have to face the people, the families of the people whose health care they took away. And they're going to have to explain exactly what they just did just now on the floor of the United States Senate and whatever they do next. So this is hard, but damn, we stay in the fight. We stay in it, not because it's an easy fight, not because we're guaranteed to win every time. We stay in it because it's the right fight.
Votorama in Senate history. Democrats stood against this moral obscenity of a bill. We filed amendments to stop them from gutting Medicaid to save health care for people who will lose it, to try to save things like SNAP, to making sure that children have more economic security, to lower the cost of prescription drugs, to protect Planned Parenthood, to protect the Affordable Care Act. We filed amendments that simply said, okay, don't give people making hundreds of millions of dollars a year more of a tax cut. Every time we raise policies that the majority of Americans, independents, Republicans, and Democrats agree on, the majority of the Republicans blocked us. So let's be clear, we got 3 Republicans to stand with us on this side. We were 1 vote short here. They put enormous pressure on the last holdouts. They offered them secret private deals to try to win their support. And eventually they were able to peel off the last Republican that they needed to ensure the passage of this vote. We fought hard over here. We made a lot of progress. We expanded people's awareness of this awful bill. But the fight continues. We have got to fight strong in the House. We faced a defeat today, but we are not defeated. We have got to continue. We are discouraged and heartbroken. But I am telling you right now, the answer to that is to turn our disappointment and our anger back into work. We have got to stop this bill in the House. And we can. There are more than a dozen House members, for various reasons, whether they're fiscal hawks or just don't believe in taking away Medicaid from people, who are saying that they don't want to vote for it. But they're going to face enormous pressure from Donald Trump. But I believe the power of the people is greater than the people in power, that we together can put the pressure on them to do the right thing. Remember, in the House, we just need 4 votes, just a handful of votes that switch our way. Let's keep going. I know this was a hurtful, painful day. I know a lot of you, like me, feel so angry and so shattered by what could happen if this bill becomes law. But the fight ain't over. We still can win.
Are you ready?
4 votes in the House. 4 votes from Republicans or independents to add to the Democratic vote. We can stop this. Senator Booker said something very, very important. Senator Booker said something very, very, very important. Let's turn our disappointment and anger into votes. Right? Let's turn our disappointment and anger into votes. Now, we know we have Congressman Benny Thompson on our side. He's the lone Democrat in Congress. And so I think what we've got to do, in addition to calling all of the other Congress folk from Mississippi, I think that we've got to reach out to our friends around the country and encourage them to call their representatives. We've got to stop this, man. This is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane to me. It's insane. And guys, let me just say this. I'm in the truck, and so I'm having a hard time seeing comments, so I may not be able to respond to your comments. I see some popping up, but I'm having a hard time reading them. So if I don't respond to them here, just know after the broadcast, I'll circle back to your comments and make sure that I respond. But I'm hurt, man. I am absolutely hurt. Cindy Hyde-Smith and Roger Wicker went along with this foolishness against the state of Mississippi. In August of 24, there were nearly 170,000 people that used Medicaid benefits. In August of 24 alone, just that 1 month alone, in August of 24 alone, almost 170,000 Mississippians used Medicaid, right? In Mississippi alone, almost in August of 24, for that month, almost 170,000 Mississippians used Medicaid. And I got news for you. It's not shocking news. It's not breaking news, but I got news for you. White Republicans used Medicaid. And all of these folk that voted for Donald Trump didn't necessarily factor in that his bills would affect them. Closing rural hospitals, gutting healthcare as we know it. Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the nation. We should be fighting for any resource that we can get. And they are attempting to gut all of this just to give permanent tax breaks to the wealthy. And we're supposed to be okay with this? We're supposed to just sit back and let it ride, let it happen? The ignorance of Black people that support Donald Trump. That's one thing, and we can have that conversation still, because I'm going to wear Nelly out in the coming days, and we can have that conversation. But the ignorance of Black people that still align themselves with Donald Trump. But now let's add to this gumbo. Let's add to this pot of gumbo. Let's add to this pot of gumbo the white folk that voted for Donald Trump. I bet you didn't think that this was going to happen. And even if you're wealthy, even if you have money, it's going to affect you. Right? Don't get sick and need to get to the hospital quickly. The number of hospitals that are going to close across this state and other states is astounding. These people have to be stopped. That means you've got to vote. And so much is going on in my head. Like, we got the ignorance of Todd Pinkins running against Cindy Hines Smith. Which makes it harder to defeat her. Harder, not impossible, but harder. And someone sent me an inbox today and said, Cindy Hines Smith is on record saying that she looks forward to the easiest election she's faced for this Senate seat. And shortly after that, we see where Todd Pinkins announces he's switching from the Democratic Party to independent. I wonder who's paying for the switch. This move by him benefits her. And he issued this glossy ad, well-polished ad, which means you've known that you were going to do this for a while. So that little Twitter rant, that Substack rant that you posted over the last couple of days is the same rant that you had when you ran before. So Will Cologne, a district attorney here in Mississippi, is running, and Ty Pinkins is running, Barbara. But Ty's making it easier for Cindy Hines Smith to be reelected. She can be defeated, so it isn't impossible. It's just a little harder. He's just made it harder. We're already at a disadvantage when it comes to the number of African Americans in Mississippi. And then when you factor the percentage of African Americans that actually vote, so Pinkins just made it harder. I hope that we see his foolishness for what it is. He's an arrogant POS. And his move benefits her. But let's not stray. Let's not stray. Let's get back to the heart of this god awful bill and our responsibility in this space. Our responsibility in this space at this hour right now. We've got work to do. We've got to call Congressman Thompson and all the other ones. We've got to reach out to our friends in other states and have them call their representatives. It can be stopped in Congress. It can be stopped in the House of Representatives. According to Senator Booker, they need 4 Republican votes or independent votes to stop it. They need 4. And these people know this is bad. Like that senator from Alaska. She was on the verge of voting no until she got what she wanted for Alaska. She admitted it. She admitted that it was a bad bill, and she was on the verge of voting no, which means they knew they needed her support. And so those requests that she made, they were honored. She admitted. And to her credit, I'd say, no, not the vote, but to her credit, she's representing her people. She got what she wanted, so she couldn't betray them. This is bad for Mississippi. All Mississippians should be furious. Alicia, I wonder if you call that folding or getting what you want. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one. According to her comments, she was looking out for her folk in Alaska, right? And so apparently she got something because she said she recognized in many states, Americans will not be advantaged by this bill. And so I don't know that I lean on the folding side as much as I lean on, and I think to your point, you're right, both. I think to your point, you're right, both. But if I was from Alaska, I would say, oh, she really looked out for us, right? No, and excuse me, I get your point loud and clear, not for the poor people in Alaska, right? I get that loud and clear, loud and clear. So I honestly, I see why you say folding and getting what you want. So I guess it could really be both. But at the end of the day, she knew it was a bad deal, and she still voted for it. And again, dang a little Karen, rope her right on in. This bill is bad for all of us, not just us poor folk, but all of us. And honestly, I don't think those Trump supporters voted for this. They didn't think that this would happen to them. And I started making a post earlier today. And I pulled some stats and some numbers from the Clarion Ledger. And then I went to the census to look at the percentage of black folk and white folk that are in Mississippi. And then I started attempting to break down all of the recipients of Medicaid and CHIP via race in Mississippi. And I just want to be perfectly honest with you tonight. I want to be perfectly honest with you tonight. It's not just us taking advantage of Medicaid. And I don't mean taking advantage of it in a mean kind of way, but it's not just us. It's not just black folk that are Medicaid recipients. There are a whole lot, or as my mother and grandmother would say, there's a heap of them that don't share our hue, that don't look like us, that are being affected. And not just the trailer park trash. There are a lot of other folk in Mississippi that's on Medicaid that need it. that depend on it. Yeah, there's a percentage of folk who take advantage of the system. I'm not saying that that's right, but I get that. But it's not just black folk. There are a ton of poor white people in Mississippi and across this country. You should be outraged. You're right. He absolutely does. Rand Paul absolutely understands. He absolutely understands. He stood strong. He voted no. He attempted to coerce the senator from Alaska to vote no. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Absolutely. 1 out of 4 nursing facilities. You're absolutely right. The stats are astounding. The stats are heartbreaking. The stats are deplorable. But the facts are this will affect all of us and not just some of us. And they risk it all to simply provide a permanent tax break for the wealthiest of folk. Yeah, the Republican senator from North Carolina voted no, but he's also not running for re-election. Fact of the matter is, it passed in the Senate. Not enough Republicans voted no. It passed. It passed in the Senate. We didn't have enough Republican support in the Senate to stop it. But it's not totally over. We need 4 Republicans to vote no in the House to join the Democrats in the House. We didn't have enough Republican senators to vote no. We didn't. It passed. We didn't have enough. Which means we got to get back in the fight, according to Senator Elizabeth Warren, right? We got to get back in. We got to stay in the fight. We got to keep fighting. We got to call.
Senator, one word to describe this bill.
Reckless.
Cruel.
Irresponsible.
Hideous. Disappointing.
Selfish.
Unconscionable.
Inhumane. Rigged.
One word that describes this bill: obscenity.
Shit sandwich.
Disgusting.
Painful.
Punitive.
Betrayal.
Bogus.
Garbage.
Awful.
Cruel. Destructive.
My word for this bill: deception.
That this was, that your vote was a bailout for Alaska at the expense of the rest of the country.
Oh my.
That's what Senator Paul said.
This one was easy.
Senator, we've got the.
I didn't say it, ma'am. I'm just asking for your response.
My response is I have an obligation to the people of the state of Alaska. And I live up to that every single day. I fight for my state's interests, and I make sure that Alaskans are understood. I work hard to take care of a state that has more unique situations, more unique people, and it's just different. And so when people suggest that federal dollars go to one of our 50 states in a, quote, bailout, I find that offensive. I advocated for my state's interests I will continue to do that, and I will make no excuses for doing that. Do I like this bill? No, because I try to take care of Alaska's interests. But I know that in many parts of the country, there are Americans that are not going to be advantaged by this bill. I don't like that.
So I apologize doing this from my phone. So Wi-Fi spotty going in and out. Let's advocate and empower our friends across the country, except Congressional 18 in Houston. So we've got to reach out to our friends across the country. We've got to turn our pain into a fight. We cannot be silent, people. We cannot be silent on this. We can't sit back and just think everything is going to be okay, because right now things are not okay. Things are not okay. Things are just not okay. Things are not okay. This bill is bad. It cleared the Senate. J.D. Vance was the tiebreaker. So there were some Republicans that voted no. Not enough of them. But it's not over. We stay in the fight. We call members of Congress, and not just our members. Let's call our friends and families across the country. Make sure they're plugged in. Make sure they're engaged. Make sure they are calling their folk. We need 4 votes, 4 additional votes out of the House to cross over with the Democratic vote. This is bad, folks. This is bad. All of you people that voted and supported Donald Trump, what are you saying now? Because this isn't just going to affect those that didn't vote for him. Yeah, he's moving fast. He's moving swiftly. He's moving fast. He's trying to shove this down our throats. He's trying to shove this down our throats. Because I think also the whole attack on Iran, I think that's all a farce. I think it's all just a distraction. It made absolutely no sense to do it. And we have so many problems and so many issues. Like our Supreme Court right now is problematic. And I think I blame part of that on Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Obama, just with the makeup of the courts, if we're honest. Because they are giving this man too much power and control. I am angry. I am angry as hell about what's happening. But I still fight. I'll start calling members of the Congress tomorrow. Let your voice be heard. But I'm also ready for the November 26th midterm elections, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. I am ready for that. We've got to send some of these killers home. We've got to send some of these killers home in November of 26. And Lord knows I wish that we could send Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith home. We got to do it, man. We've got to do it. We've got to do it. Too much is at stake. We stand to lose so much in Mississippi. I was saying before we had the technical difficulties, I was attempting to do a deep dive on those Medicaid numbers for our state. Because I'm telling you, it's not just folk that look like us that's on Medicaid. It's not just folk that look like us that are taking advantage of Medicaid. This is Donald Trump's way of gutting any and everything that remotely helps the poor. This is his way of doing it, to give himself and the other wealthiest Americans a permanent tax break. But those fancy tax breaks, if this bill becomes full law, does not protect you when you get sick, wealthy people, and there's no hospital in your immediate vicinity. And the nearest hospital is 30, 40 miles out. Somebody, lots of bodies, lots of somebodies are going to die. Die. If this bill becomes law, it will be worse than any weapon of mass destruction. It will be worse than any mass killings you've ever witnessed. What these people did today in the Senate is criminal, and we should be filing lawsuit after lawsuit. It is absolutely criminal what these people have done. Dr. J has put some stats on the screen, some information on the screen. I can't see it well because I'm doing this from my phone, but I hope you guys can see it and understand, excuse me, and understand the severity of the situation that we are in right now. Absolutely, Tamika, trust God. Absolutely trust God. Yeah, Barbara, I'm totally disgusted with the Supreme Court as well. They are empowering this overgrown, hypocritical fool. In Mississippi alone, nearly 200,000 people, 170 or so, no, nearly 200,000 people will lose health care if this bill becomes law. You know, I told y'all that I was sick of those fans. And where them fans at? And boots on the ground. Love the song Sick of It now, though, because we run out. But God darn it, we need boots on the ground to stop this. I will endure, I will endure more fan popping if we stop this. Let's go pop those fans in their faces. Right? Let's do it. Let's do it. We've got to stop this, man. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. Quickly, I want to pause just for a second and send a shout out to one of our sponsors, and that's Kamisha Mumford, who is seeking Senate District 26 in Mississippi. She's seeking to um, fill the seat left vacant by the new mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, John Horn. And I think all the activities, um, installation activities, I think all of that is going on now. They've had a whole slew of activities today and yesterday. So I think they're all in the middle of that. But Kamisha Mumford, who we'll have on in the days to come. Thank you for sponsoring this. Thank you for offering yourself as a public servant. We do appreciate your getting in the fight. We need you here in Mississippi. We need you in Mississippi. So thank you for sponsoring this broadcast. We've got we've got so much work to do. We've got a lot to do. But let's turn this pain, let's turn this disappointment into action, right? Let's turn it into action. We've got to get this done. We've got to stop the foolishness of what's happening in this country. We've got to stop the foolishness of what's happening in this country. We've got to stop it. So while the results were disappointing in the Senate, it isn't law yet. This bill isn't law yet. They've got to clear the House. I think our chances of stopping it in the House are far greater than what we experienced these last 2 days in the United States Senate. But we've also got to step up to the plate and vote in these midterm elections. We've got to. We've got to step up to the plate and vote in these midterm elections. And we got to do more than vote. We've got to help the good candidates out there. We've got to help the good candidates that are out there. We need to replace Cindy Hyde-Smith, but we need to replace Cindy Hyde-Smith with the right person. And for her arrogance to say she's looking forward to the easiest race, easiest reelection, easiest race this time around, and for the first time. Her level of arrogance almost matches the arrogance of Ty Pinkins. Things that make you go, and make you really think about your vote and what we are doing. Y'all, let's stop this. Let's stop this. And so, folk, I would encourage you to follow these issues, to get in the fight. We've got to fix this. We've got to stop this. And we still have an opportunity to stop it. I'll post the number where you can call, again, so you can be equipped with that. She has to go. She has to go, Barbara. You're right. She has to go. We need to send a strong message. And not only Cindy, but all these Republicans that supported this garbage should go. Should go. Honestly, I know y'all, some of y'all voted for Donald Trump, but did you vote for this? You could not have voted for this. Surely you didn't. Surely you didn't. Surely you didn't vote for this. Surely we are better than this. And like Jory said, if y'all think that the only folk that are going to feel the effect of gutting Medicaid are immigrants, think again. Think again. Right? Think again. Listen, think again. Think again. Think again for real. So my nieces and nephews waving at me. I'm in the car. So it's about time for me to wrap. But listen, think again. Did you really vote for this? Is this what you voted for? Really? Is this what you voted for? It's not over. Let's stay in the fight. If you haven't gotten in the fight, get in the fight. We need your voice. Let's call. Let's call. Let's call. Call our friends, family members around the country. Make sure they are engaged. Let's get the additional 4 votes that we need. I think our chances in the House are better. There are some Republicans that are against this bill because they recognize the danger of this bill. We've got to do our part over the next couple of days. Because, like Alicia said, Donald is trying to push this through so fast. He's trying to push it through really fast. Let's fix it. Let's get involved. Thank you for being here tonight. I apologize for the technical difficulties earlier. But thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for getting involved. Thank you for fighting. Thank you for voting. In the coming days, we'll talk to some mayors across the state, new mayors, right? To celebrate that. Couldn't celebrate that tonight with all of that's going on in D.C. But in the days to come, we will. And we'll talk to mayors across the state. We're going to be following and watching closely all of these folk around the state because, you know, our goal is to expand our network statewide. We want to be the voice of information, the voice of reason, the voice of information dissemination. But we can only do that with your continued support. So please support us. Subscribe to us, easy to do. Make a donation to us. Buy ads with us. Help us continue to do this kind of meaningful journalism. If this information was helpful tonight, think about investing. Think about sponsoring. Think about helping us. If this information was beneficial to you tonight, think about sponsoring. Think about investing. Think about advertising. Think about subscribing. So there are many ways, many ways. There are many ways to help us do this work. We want to stay in the game. We want to continue, but we need your support. We need your support. So think about investing. Think about donating. And as I get out of here, I absolutely want to thank all of you that helped the third graders at Galloway this summer. They've taken the test. We are awaiting final results. We feel so good about what's happening, what's going to happen, right? We feel so good. If you want to see your name scrolling across the screen, you want to get us to give you a shout out, think about donating to us. Think about supporting us. Help us keep going. Help us not be hindered or bothered by rules, right? Or time constraints. Help us maintain our independent voice. Help Black media thrive. Please support us. That's all I got for tonight. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And we'll talk to you again.